Shall we go into the news?
Absolutely.
People have been waiting all week for this. It is the development news of the week brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages, FHA, VA, and of course, conventional loans. They're all available there. Their loan officers will sit with you, talk with you, consult with you, and really guide you through the process. And get started. A lot of people, I mentioned this last week, but I got to say it again. A lot of people hesitate with the whole home buying thing because they say, it's the holiday season, New Year starting here pretty soon. Hogwash. It does not slow down anymore. It just keeps going.
There's signs up, sold signs, there's for sale signs. It seems like people are figuring out a way to sell their house and find a new one.
It's still crazy out there. And a lot of it is because the population is growing. I mean, we are seeing, and some of this is just anecdotal evidence, but it's anecdotal evidence we're confident in. It seems like a lot of people coming into town, and it shows.
With money.
We talk to people that lease apartments, and they say, oh, yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people from California, state of Washington, Illinois, New Jersey, and some of the other East Coast states coming in. So it continues to grow. So, yeah, don't slow down. If you are seriously thinking about making a house move, don't let the holidays slow you down. eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, on the news docket this week, Trenton, the first thing is that White Lotus Group, which is developing the Civic Auditorium site downtown, has, according to a planning board document, looks like they're going to add some for ownership. So, for sale ownership,
Condos.
condo, owned townhome units, something like that to that Civic Auditorium site. Previously announced it was all going to be just rentals. And that's probably a good thing for mixing up the population base downtown a little bit.
I think so. The mixed use, there's talk about maybe if the library gets relocated, W. Dale Clark Library, that might be part of that as kind of a civic use there on the old civic site. What is that, about 9 acres, I think?
8, 9, something like that.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be a welcome part of it.
Well, and I can remember you saying several years ago that you thought one of the best purposes for that land would be an urban dense area for families. And I always thought that was a pretty good idea.
You think about brownstones in Chicago and different places and, 3-story units maybe. It'd be kind of cool. I think that whole long-term outlook for that civic development and a lot of other things that would be pretty housing-centric downtown is pretty good. You've got all of these parks that are under construction, which are going to create an amenity that we've never seen downtown before. And you're already seeing a lot of residential growth down there. I mean, you think about the Mercantile, which is that area on the northwest corner of the ConAgra campus. There are a hell of a lot of residential units going in there. And by the way, you can drive by it on 10th Street, and it looks impressive. But until you really kind of look around a little bit, you don't realize it goes all the way down to 8th Street. Absolutely.
A lot of units.
You look at the retail on the first floor and then the apartments going above. You're going to see, imagine another 10 or 20,000 residents in the next 10 years downtown.
I would be shocked if that does not come true. I think you can pretty much count on that because definitely the effort is being made in order to accommodate that, and everything is going in that direction. So CoStar, which provides a lot of real estate data here in Omaha and around the world, they always give us a little real estate update every week. And so this week they share with us that the U.S. restaurant industry has demonstrated a big appetite. See what I did there?
Yep.
For initial public offerings this year. And these could really feed the national real estate market. Kind of give you an idea, Panera Brands has joined a half dozen chains in 2021 that have filed documents with the SEC to go public. And the activity follows a year when the pandemic landed quite a blow to the restaurant industry, as we have well documented here, that knocked out a lot of the weaker players. So these initial public offerings are expected to lead to restaurant chain expansions, with the companies wielding their brick and mortar with the companies widening their brick and mortar footprint. So it could be a real boost because, restaurants had a tough time. But that said, You and I and some of our brokers at NAINP Dodge this week had a conversation in which we said, hey, if you've got someone who's looking for a restaurant space right now that is turnkey and ready to go into, they're in a little short supply.
Yeah, I need one, and I announced it last week as well. I got some calls, but I need 4,000 to 8,000 square feet for a full-service restaurant, existing restaurant spaces only at this point. But get a hold of me. If you know of a restaurant that maybe wants out, or you're a landlord or a tenant and you want out, give me a call. And I'll tell you what's in high demand is drive-through restaurant spaces, and the rental rates are at an all-time high as well. I've got some of those that would take out another restaurant. And believe it or not, who would have thought that we were talking about so much demand in full-service and drive-through restaurants over the last year and a half of what we've been through?
When it comes to drive-through restaurants, I always say never underestimate lazy Americans' propensity to not get out of their automobiles.
That's true.
Those things are incredibly popular these days. Well, construction is progressing quite nicely on the Dahlman Rose townhomes. Get a load of this, 7th and Center Street. That's not an address you hear every day.
No, it's down there.
You know, there are not a lot of places where you find single-digit street numbers in town. 7th and Center Street, South Side, real nice urban infill project. 36 townhomes putting in there. I drove by it about a week ago. Looks really cool. And so, again, we were talking about infill and how you're going to see 10 to 20,000 more people living in downtown Omaha in the not too distant future. You're going to see thousands of more going into the urban core around downtown because of so many projects like this.
Hip and cool.
Here's another one. Construction has reached the 5th floor of a future 6-story apartment building on the northwest corner of 38th and Leavenworth near UNMC. The bottom 2 floors of this building will be used for indoor parking. It might have a little bit of commercial space or something like that, but this is nearly a $30 million project, 172 units.
Bring it on.
Taking advantage of all of that stuff going on in that fast-growing area. And then the Omaha Planning Board has recommended more than $8 million in tax increment financing for the Innovation Hub project. That's part of University of Nebraska Medical Center's Saddle Creek campus, their new west campus, the campus west of Saddle Creek. Plans call for the renovation of the long vacant Omaha steel castings plant.
That's going to be pretty cool. Kind of incubator space and grow businesses there and all their different patents and things like that.
Unimed, which
Who would have thought they would have kept that building?
Yeah, and probably turn it into what will be one of the coolest buildings on the campus. But Unimed, which is the entity that takes the innovations and research at the Med Center and
patents and
commercializes it, they'll be in there. They're even going to have a food court in that building.
They got the room.
They're talking my language when they talk about food courts. So plans call for another Orbit, Omaha Rapid Bus Transit Station at 8th and Farnham Street. So this would be down right where Heartland of America starts and where the aforementioned building on the ConAgra campus is under construction.
Okay.
I think it makes a lot of sense because there'll be a lot of people living there right there on that site. You've got some jobs.
Bring them back to the river.
Yeah, ConAgra still has, a couple thousand people working down there on that campus, I believe. And then the park should be quite the amenity. But if you're familiar with Orbit at all, this is where it turns around. So it's the eastern terminus. Right now, the easternmost stops are 10th and Dodge and about 10th and Capitol. But it takes, and that's actually not Dodge, it's actually Douglas. So it takes Douglas eastbound, then it goes down to 8th Street, loops around the Greenhouse Apartments, then comes over on in that area over there to the 10th and Capitol area. But at any rate, I keep saying Capitol, I mean Dodge. Tough morning. At any rate, you're basically going to extend the route another 2 blocks by putting that site there at 8th and Dodge. So speaking of transportation, last week we talked about a new temporary entrance into Eppley International Airport because...
Have you seen that lately? Wow.
I went over there, because I care about the people that we serve. So I went in, I drove it to see if it is well-marked and easy, and it's not too bad.
Yeah, but they're definitely doing a lot of construction. I drove by there yesterday, and you definitely got to watch the signs.
Have you seen how they're going to put the ramp up to the 3rd floor of the parking garage?
It's pretty slick.
That's going to be pretty cool because that's where they're going to have their premier quick parking sort of thing. So And they're doing that, I suspect, so that you can take the skywalk over to the terminal.
Yeah, I always try to park on the 3rd or 4th floor and take the skywalk over.
3rd floor is the only way to go. And at any rate, so I checked it out for the time in which this is going to be temporary. I checked it out, though, right after it opened. I think it was, Tuesday maybe or something like that. So that's when I went, and they were still trying to put the finishing touches on it. And I will say, no offense to our senior citizens listening, because I'm going to be a senior citizen not there very long from now. But there were some senior citizens that were having a little hard time with the roadblocks there. So if you haven't been down there, you got a flight, you might want to go a little early if you're picking up a family member for Thanksgiving or what have you. So last thing I've got for you, Trenton, Brad Williams, our official photographer and frequent contributor on the Grow Omaha show, has posted some amazing aerial photographs on the Grow Omaha Facebook page lately. And a couple things you will see. One, the $103 million Steelhouse Omaha music venue.
That thing is popping up, man.
Goodness gracious, that's gone fast. Cool aerial views of that. Also some riverfront stuff. But one thing you definitely want to see on there, aerial views of the demolition that has been underway now for a while of the Ramada Cocoa Key Hotel.
Yeah, that's it. We all spent a lot of time there in high school, and 72nd and Grover Street, the old Holiday Inn Express and the Cocoa Key is coming down.
And with that, that's your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com, where they know mortgages.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.